Reading from Matthew 12, verses 46 to 50. While Jesus was still talking to the crowd, his mother and brothers stood outside, wanting to speak to him. Someone told him, "Your mother and brothers are standing outside, wanting to speak to you." He replied, "Who is my mother, and who are my brothers?" Pointing to his disciples, he said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
This reading is from John 19, verse 26 till 27. When Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, "Woman, here is your son." And to the disciple, "Here is your mother." From that time on, this disciple took her into his home. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Here is my mother. Here is my brother, my sister. Jesus points to us and says those words to his disciples, all who follow him, who try to do God's will in their lives. You are part of the family. If we think back to our life within the church, whether it's been long or a short time, there are people who stand out, who showed a welcome, who showed care, who were interested in us if we were there in church as a child, who made a difference. I think of some of the older single ladies. There have been some remarkable ladies in churches that I have been part of. And they never had the opportunity to marry. They didn't have, for some reason or other. But they were like the mothers of the church in the way they cared and they inspired. I think of Beryl from Romsey days, and how she told me when I came to High Wycombe. Oh, I was brought up in High Wycombe, but Beryl was an amazing head teacher in a multicultural, multi-faith area in Birmingham. Did an amazing job. Worked for a while in India. Remarkable lady of faith. She spoke of dying as the next adventure. The next adventure. I think of her. I want you to think about for a moment the family. We talk about the church family quite a lot, and maybe we've made it a bit glib. Just a phrase, just a word. But, sometimes the church family isn't at its best. We have our moments. There can be arguments in church. There can be divisions sometimes, just as in a human family. Different ideas, different personalities. But we're part of that amazing family of God. And we're part of it not because we deserve to be, that we've earned the right, but Jesus has welcomed us into this amazing family. And if at any point the family has let you down, then please ask the family's forgiveness. And if you feel at times that you've let the family down, then seek God's forgiveness today. At the very hardest moment of his life, that moment when he felt distant from God, in the other Gospels, in Matthew and Mark, there's a point in the cross where Jesus uses Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? He feels distant from God. But according to John's Gospel, written in honour, I guess, of John the disciple, it was written perhaps for a community that traced its roots to John the apostle. They believed that Mary was there, and one of the disciples that was very close to Jesus, John, was there too. And Jesus, in a sense, hands his mum to John to look after and calls John to play his part as the family of God. Let's give thanks today for mothers, actual mothers. It's something that is beyond my comprehension. I've got a daughter and a daughter-in-law who are very close to giving birth, and I just can't imagine what they're going through. The idea of this little creature inside, just beyond comprehension of any man. You know, they do say that if men had to give birth, there would be very few people born in this world. Well done, mothers. You deserve a medal. Just the very process of being pregnant and giving birth. And we've all got mothers. Some of us might not know our physical mother, but they played their part. And then we think about those who are adopted, who are mums to their children, just as much as a physical mother. And we give thanks for them. And then we think of fathers who may be mums to their children in many different ways, particularly if they're a single parent, a single father, in what is still just a role that people are getting used to, that fathers can be just as much mothers to their children, protective and caring of their children as women. Men and women now can share that role just as they can share their careers and their work. And then we give thanks for brothers and sisters within this family. And then we give thanks for children. And we give thanks for each other. And all who have cared for us. And all whom we can care for. In many churches, and in this church, we often give out flowers on Mothering Sunday. We always aim to give flowers to all the women in the church. I'm hoping we have enough. We have enough. And I think at this point, if you have a mother in church, perhaps you could go and fetch some flowers for them. And then we'll make sure every woman within the church has some flowers. So with the children, whatever age the children are. Julia, I don't know if you are our oldest child, but you just say thank you to Mum. And then if children, do you need any more help back there? If you'd like to just give out the flowers. Mothering Sunday, Mother's Day, is quite an emotional day. There are so many different emotions that go round on this day, and we gather them all up. Sometimes we say, well, flowers speak louder than words.